The voices in my head are making my hair fall out. Right here. I want to cry. I'm trying to work. They keep telling me to go kill myself. I want them sentenced to death. They are Egyptian American Muslim women, terrorists, and their brothers or their dads talking in my head. Okay, they're committing crimes, they're frauds, there's not one of them earned their degree, not one of them, they're using telepathy, like surveillance technology. They can see through people's eyes, they know what they're thinking. They're stealing intellectual property, they're stealing money, they're taking credit for people's ideas. They're terrorists. I want them sentenced to death. They're talking in my head. They are talking in my head. And how I know for a fact, like, that they're trying so hard. They're talking in my head. It's self-explanatory that there are records. And then they're trying to disguise it and make it sound like it's coming from outside. And they're saying they want kids to die. No one specific. Although they have said mine. They're terrorists. They're psycho trash. I want them sentenced to death. The only reason why they've been permitted to use this is because they've said that they're victims of persecution after 9/11, being minorities in a majority Christian country, and that the police are not they're not doing their job properly or something, and if in fact it's actually causing more chaos when that's not the case. These terrorists are talking in our heads. They are playing games. They are terrorists. They are pedophiles. They are rapists. They are murderers, serial killers. They've said they committed genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity. The list goes on and on and on. The women don't care if the men do, like, they don't murder or they don't murder. That's what they keep saying in my head. They like sleeping with men who make money. I promise to God, based on how clingy they are and how much they've been torturing and abusing me by the amount of talking and distracting that they've been doing, and the trafficking and the trying to steer me away from work, I promise you, and they're working overtime now, especially now that I know what's going on. They're not like the type that make money. These are psychopaths. They need to be sentenced to death. That is all there is to it. That is all. Everything that they do is so basic. It's just, they're just sitting here because they've had money and they've been using this telepathy technology that they think they're at an advantage to the general public. They're not. These are terrorists. They're like your regular Joe Schmoes. There's nothing interesting about them. They're not attractive. I haven't seen them, but I can promise you, it's not like, we're not talking about supermodels. We're not talking about artists or athletes or musicians or rocket scientists, or we're not talking about, like, we're talking your regular Joe Schmo who's just happened to find an opportunity, wanted to take advantage of it, and he took a bunch of trash cans down with him, and they all sat there and organized this stupid, like, this ring of, like, crimes that they're committing and manipulating and fraud, and it's ongoing. The women got accustomed to a lifestyle that really they didn't earn, and on top of the fact, they sound disgusting, they sound weird, they sound entitled. They're sitting here telling me to kill myself because they want to. I don't even know. They're enjoying people serving them. They turn around and, after committing several crimes, go take credit for after defaming somebody and framing them, and then go take credit for bringing them forward. And it's just, how convenient is that? They're terrorists. They're talking in my head. They hate me. They keep saying I'm going to die because I'm just being so blatantly honest about how over this I am. I'm done. There's absolutely no way these terrorists would have made any money at all. Honest to God, God if it wasn't for this telepathy technology. They're using manipulative tactics to break down my confidence. Okay, and they've been doing it for 6 years. They don't want me recording anything that's going on outside. They don't want me saying I hear voices in my head. They don't want me repeating what they're saying. They want me to just die slowly, and then all of a sudden, and I don't even know how they expect they're sitting there, and if they see me dying, like, wouldn't they have to report that something's going on with me? I mean, I'm obviously not doing anything if I'm dying. Like, so I don't know. It just doesn't add up to me. Something's just off about them. And I don't know, all they want me to do is cry. And when I'm crying, they don't want anybody to see me cry. They want me upset and angry and screaming. So I look like some lunatic that's running around. Not me. It's not me. I'm like, honest to God, I'm like way too calm. My blood pressure, like, I've never had high blood pressure, never will. I'm just not the type. I just don't let shit get to me like that. I'm very reasonable. I like to size my oppositions up. I like to know where I stand. I like logic, and nothing they're saying makes any goddamn sense to me. I want them sentenced to death. Everything they're saying sounds psychotic. The Central Intelligence Agencies and federal governments and agencies in different countries are on their asses. They want them sentenced either to life or to death, or to be, if they're at all a part of this this organization of terrorists, then to be monitored using the same telepathy surveillance technologies. Of course, consenting that that's what they'd prefer to do than to serve life, and so that they can live freely if they have kids and still, but they want to. The governments are trying to come out and be public with this. The terrorists talking in my head, they're still like, they're running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to find out how to manipulate these records. I'm so through. 6 years. Like, why don't you just murder me? Why don't give me a heart attack? Like, make my head explode like Carrie. He's talking in my head. It doesn't take that long. This is bullshit. Or fuck off. Like, what do you tell this terrorist? Who's like, I would have cracked your head open. I could have shot you in the face. Like, he's saying all this stuff, but he won't do it because then he has to go report what happened. And as a matter of fact, way before the crime is committed. Because if anything is happening to me, he should be the first one to know, since he's in my head. And they gave him my entire network to investigate. Why should this piece of shit not know what's going on in my life? I have no idea. So now that he knows there's nothing going on, he can see his way out of my fucking head. They're talking in my head. They're Egyptian American Muslim women and men. And I want them all sentenced to death. Like, I just don't even know what to say anymore. They won't fuck off. I don't have anything for them. I don't know them. I don't owe them money. I don't know any Egyptian American Muslims. I only know Coptic Orthodox Egyptians. And that's that. And as a matter of fact, I want to keep it separate, because at this point, I don't want them to frame innocent. I don't want them to say that it's an innocent Egyptian American Muslim sitting, who may be just hanging out outside, and to say it's them anymore, because they sat here and said they're Egyptian American Muslim in my fucking head. So now it's like, no, I want it to be, if the Central Intelligence Agencies are tracking them down, then I want them to track them down and make it very clear. Everyone that's innocent is accounted for. Everyone who they can't find because they're clearly sitting behind the computer, they can start to monitor as to, what it is that's on the record that they're hearing, and, the timestamps on the voices that I hear, because they're all assigned these voices, and they're specific voices for each terrorist person or group or whoever. And I hear like 10 of them, and just to find out who's checking in and who's checking out, and does it match, the traffic? Like, are they leaving the house? Are they coming in from where they're talking in my head? I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't want to be around Egyptian American Muslims anymore because I'm scared that the wrong ones will be investigated for the crimes that the terrorists in my head are committing. So it's just like, I prefer to just be completely honest with what's going on in my head. I want them sentenced to death. I am not playing. These psychos have said they want my kids to die, me to die, my mom, they gave my sister, they damaged her pancreas, they ruined her eyes, they gave my dad a heart attack, they're talking in my head, they made my hair fall out, they said they'll drug my daughter, they'll rape my daughter, they'll do this, they'll do that. They're talking in my head saying this, okay? Now, I don't know how possible all that is, but based on my experience with it, I can tell you, from how I feel in my experience, I don't think it's far-fetched what they're saying. I mean, I don't think they'll physically be the ones to do it, but I do definitely think they'll use this telepathy, mind control, mind reading, mind thought implanting, seeing through your eyes, surveillance, talking in your head, telepathy, weapon of mass destruction to do it. That's what I think. Okay, and that's that. And I just, if they have kids, I don't think they're suited to be mothers. And if their kids are adults and now they're inheriting this terrorist money and now they're getting involved, then they're just as much terrorists as their parents. It's just, that's how I feel. And I want them sentenced to death. I'm done talking. The crimes they're committing they're beyond a violation of your human rights. This is like, this is more than slavery. Someone's controlling your mind. I can't work. I've made one call today. I want them sentenced to death. I want them sentenced to death. In an hour and a half, I made one call because of how distracting they are. I want them sentenced to death. They want me out of here. I've moved to 4 different spots. Every place that I've moved, they've managed to get me to leave. I'm done. Now that I understand what I'm doing, I am fucking solid. I am not going anywhere. I am going to build some ground for me and my kids to the best of my ability. I'm turning 40 next month. This isn't like I'm 20 and I can still get, I can still manage to save and clean up the mess they've made for me. This is like, I'm just whatever I have left, I'm going to try and piece it together. My daughter has a tutor today at 3:00. It's already on 11. I don't have time. I want to try and make money. I'm not trying, this is bullshit. I want them sentenced to death. I'm tired of this shit. They're talking in my head and they're saying they want kids to die. They're not identifying themselves. And I have neighbors with kids and then I have kids. So these people in my head, these terrorists are like dragging people in it. I'm just saying they're saying a lot of shit that's nerve-wracking to me. So I'm placing my phone down to make it clear. They're not my fucking neighbors who are talking in my head to any Central Intelligence agents, to any of their confidential informants, to anybody who's investigating these terrorists. It's not my neighbors. What you guys are hearing on those records are the terrorists talking in my head using the surveillance technologies. I want them sentenced to death for the millionth time. I have to let the recording run for 5-10 minutes because they can't stop talking and it's a weak spot. So I'm like poking at it. I'm definitely poking at it. I'm like, if you've shown any sign of it, weakness or any vulnerabilities, I'm taking advantage of it because this is not a game to me. 40 years of my life and my kids, my son is in college and my daughter is freshman in high school. I'm I'm not about to waste my, I'm not playing any games. He said they attempted to murder me, and I hit my head so hard, I had a dent in the back of my head. He said, I could have cracked your head open, but you're so, you're so lucky. Basically, since you didn't die, slit your wrist, do drugs, and die. Like, find your way the hell out of here. Nobody wants you. I have 2 kids, and they've been doing this for 6 years. My daughter, since she's 7, she is traumatized. Okay. Oh, you mad? Because now I'm discussing it and not the way you want to discuss it. It's like a piece of shit. Wow. Okay. They keep saying, my kids, you want my kids to die in my head. So imagine if it's like they're sending it over to a Central Intelligence Agency and they're like, someone, we need to investigate. And then, oh my God. How vulnerable is that for my, oh my, no way in fucking hell. No. It's the terrorists talking in my head. They're the fucking problem. And then they're saying, my kids, they want my kids to die. No, they're not kids. These are adults. And they're using a telepathy weapon and they're committing major crimes behind them. These bitches are playing a dirty fucking game. I want them sentenced to death. Now, the United States government has way too much class. The federal agents, they have class. The Central Intelligence Agencies, they have class. Even though people don't believe it, the Hollywood and the entertainment industry, they have class. Even though people don't see, they don't understand, they're undercovers. These people they are highly intelligent, highly sophisticated, educated undercovers that are also attempting to get this organization and bring it down. They're terrorists. They're talking in my head. I'm sorry, just they're playing with my head. They're trying to say people want, no, that's not true. The terrorists in my head are fucking liars. They're losing their fucking marbles and they're saying some seriously way out shit. And they're manipulating shit, and it's just not, it's not sitting well with me at all. They're liars. They're raising terrorists, and their kids are committing crimes, and they're not just like normal crimes. It's murder, it's human trafficking, it's genocide, it's the 9, and they're adults. We're not talking about kids. The bitch in my head keeps saying kids. She's a fucking psycho bitch. Honest, there's more than one. I've seen at least 4 in my head, and I can see them like a visual in my head. These bitches, I'm sorry, but wow. Ew, grimy. They're grimy, disgusting, low down, you don't want them around your kids type women. And it's for the money, and they think it's this is how rich people know. These are psychos. Okay, I'm done. They didn't earn a degree. They didn't do shit. They're frauds. They're liars. They'll sit in your face. Ew. Okay, so they're calling me a stupid bitch, but it's like, why? Why do I gotta be all that? What is this, are we kids? He keeps saying he's retarding me. One of them in my head. I'm tired. They're pulling on my hair right here. I can feel it falling out. It is so emotionally damaging. I mean, I have bald spots in the back of my head. I have bald spots everywhere. I'm done talking. I want them sentenced to death. And he keeps saying, like, no one... What? These aren't people that enjoy people's company. They enjoy people serving them. They like lying. They're weird. They're just not cocky. It's insecure and like uncomfortable, and like personalities are just really heavy, and they're just, I don't know how to explain, I don't know how to explain it. They're liars. They're just frauds. They're murderers. They're psychopaths. I'm tired. These are like sociopaths. I just don't understand how this is happening. Why aren't they sentenced? Why haven't they been sentenced to death yet? Anyways, I don't know.